In this video, we're comparing the Insta360 Ace Pro 2 and the GoPro Hero13 Black to find out which of the two cameras is the better choice for us motorcyclists. At the start of the 2025 season, the 1000 PS crew switched action camera brands for the very first time. After losing valuable footage over the past few years because of GoPro's unreliable software, we decided to give Insta360's products a chance. So, in this video, you're not only getting a direct comparison of the two latest flagship models, but we'll also share our long-term experiences from countless video productions using the Ace Pro 2. Both cameras now offer such an enormous range of features that a complete test would go way beyond any reasonable time frame. That's why, in this video, we'll focus only on the functions and modes that matter most to us motorcyclists. The GoPro is a little slimmer and weighs 157.6 grams, compared to the Ace Pro 2's 180.1 grams. The latter, however, comes with a larger sensor, designed to deliver better performance in low-light conditions, and also features a handy flip screen. When used on a motorbike, the difference in size and weight is honestly negligible. None of us can feel those roughly 20 grams of difference. The flip-out screen, on the other hand, makes a real difference. It makes filming much easier. The camera can be operated and adjusted far more conveniently, directly on the helmet. And getting the right framing is also noticeably simpler. When it comes to possible resolutions and frame rates, there are plenty of similarities, and one major difference. Both cameras can record the relevant frame rates in 4K, meaning you can shoot at up to 120 frames per second to create some really nice slow-motion footage. The biggest difference lies in the maximum possible resolution. The Ace Pro 2 reaches an impressive 8K, while the GoPro manages 5.3K. You'll find out in a moment how that actually plays out in practice. When filming 4K panning shots, I'm very happy with both cameras, and it's quite difficult to spot any real difference in quality with the naked eye. To me, it seems like the GoPro handles edge definition a bit better, rendering details more sharply. But that only becomes noticeable when you zoom in heavily during post-production. And once the footage is compressed by YouTube, that advantage pretty much disappears. What doesn't disappear, however, is the fact that the Ace Pro 2's stabilization works more smoothly and looks noticeably more natural. With the GoPro, some movements are a bit jittery, although not seriously so, as you've probably just seen for yourselves. I'm not entirely sure how much real-world benefit the 8K resolution actually brings. On the one hand, it's obvious that a higher resolution image theoretically allows more finely rendered details. In the katana example we showed, you can indeed see that quite clearly. At all other resolutions, though, the GoPro generally achieves better detail rendering. Even at its maximum resolution of 5.3K, the GoPro still allows the wide-angle super view mode, whereas with the Insta360, the all-important action view can no longer be used. And that brings me to the next point. Action cams have been able to vary their field of view for many years now. What's especially important for us is having the widest possible angle, a mode without excessive wide-angle distortion, and a digital horizon leveling feature. For years, GoPro had a clear advantage with its so-called super view mode, an especially wide field of view. That ultra-wide angle is absolutely essential when you're after the best onboard perspective, meaning the one from the chin mount on the helmet. But by now, the competition has caught up. The so-called action mode of the Ace Pro 2 offers exactly that same ultra-wide angle, fully on par with GoPro's Super View. The possible field of view is massive, So with both cameras, you'll get the perfect onboard perspective. In this scenario, the stabilization works brilliantly on both cameras. The GoPro still holds a slight advantage here though. It also offers a so-called hyperview mode, which brings even more of the scene into the frame. In certain situations, that can be beneficial, and this exaggerated wide angle also adds its own unique sense of dynamism. You can create some really interesting first-person perspectives with it. That said, the GoPro's hyperview doesn't represent a truly groundbreaking difference compared with the action view on the Ace Pro 2. If you want to experiment with genuinely surreal and ultra-wide viewing angles, you'll need to go for a 360-degree camera anyway. As mentioned earlier, the action view isn't available in 8K, so we can only make limited use of the Ace Pro 2 in that glorious resolution on the bike itself. Personally, the 8K over 5.3K doesn't feel like a major bonus to me. However, I should add that both cameras deliver slightly different image quality depending on which recording mode you're using. Performance in the ultra-wide-angle modes is practically identical, and that's what matters most to us motorcyclists. The so-called linear mode, meaning a field of view that removes the strong fisheye distortion of the wide-angle lens, is mainly what we use for filming other bikes, whether they're moving or stationary. Once again, both cameras deliver perfectly satisfying results. Even under tricky lighting conditions, with plenty of bright and dark transitions, both handle things superbly. The stabilization technology in 2025 is truly impressive. There are virtually no visible artifacts or blurring from the stabilization process. The GoPro once again stands out for its slightly crisper edge definition, while the Ace Pro 2 offers smoother and more natural-looking image stabilization. The following cornering sequence shows that small but noticeable difference quite clearly. The digital horizon leveling produces a result that's equal on both cameras, so a draw, just like with the chin-mounted perspective. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a good mounting point on the Katana for a more striking shot. But fortunately, we've already produced far more exciting clips with the Ace Pro 2 earlier in 2025. If you use each camera's respective log profiles to give yourself maximum flexibility in post, I prefer GoPro's approach. With the same settings, it removes considerably more sharpness from the image, which is important for matching optimally with footage from large, expensive cameras. I reckon the GoPro makes it easier to achieve cinematic looks here. As I've said several times already, both cameras operate at an absolutely top level. To be honest, I feel a bit silly going on about image quality comparisons for so long. At the end of the day, it's still crystal clear that in the year 2025, it's not the camera, but the person behind it that makes the difference. A true professional could, of course, analyze the respective videos with technical precision and tell you exactly which of the two delivers higher image performance. In reality, though, it's not especially important. If you want to produce 4K videos for YouTube, both candidates deliver absolutely top-tier quality. For non-experts like me, what you're left with is basically a personal preference. I slightly prefer the GoPro's rendering. That said, both cameras offer so many image tuning options that after enough tinkering, I might actually manage to get a look I like better out of the Insta. I just didn't take the time for that much fiddling, especially because, as I've just said, I don't think it really matters. The following points, however, do make a genuine difference in everyday filming. Both cameras have 3 microphones each, and yet the Ace Pro 2 clearly delivers better sound. While the GoPro's recorded soundscape is usually best forgotten, the Insta360 actually captures a surprising amount of engine noise. That might be down to the special microphone cover you can see here. Of course, I also tried operating both cameras while wearing motorcycle gloves. In theory, both should work, but in practice, it's noticeably better with the Insta360. Most of the important touchscreen buttons are much larger and easier to hit accurately, even without gloves.
The GoPro's menu, particularly for key options like recording modes and resolutions, feels rather fiddly. And as you can see here, it sometimes reacts poorly to glove inputs. However, when it comes to handling, there's also a major drawback on the Insta360 side. The far more important record button, the shutter itself, is very difficult to operate with motorcycle gloves. Although it looks perfectly normal and harmless from the outside, it's genuinely tricky to start or stop a recording while riding.
You really have to hit the button exactly in the center to start it. And with most gloves and their finger stitching, that only works relatively poorly.
That's genuinely annoying, because it's often important to be able to start a recording very quickly while riding. With the Ace Pro 2, you're still often faffing about, while GoPro users have already been filming for several seconds. However, if you do hit the button first time, the Insta360 has a small advantage. Its quick start function is, by my estimate, roughly 2 blinks faster. You can see the difference from the on-screen recording time shown on the displays. The greatest joy in the year 2025 for the 1000 PS crew was battery life. Compared with the GoPro Hero 10, 11, and 12 that we previously used, all the editors agree that the Insta360 cameras offer longer battery life. Personally, though, it doesn't feel like a particularly big difference to me.
The shorter runtime of our GoPros was probably mainly due to the age of the respective batteries. With the current models, I therefore carried out a direct comparison, which confirms my suspicion. The Ace Pro 2 managed 4K 30 for 91 minutes and 15 seconds. The GoPro reached 95 minutes and 18. So, in practice, the difference is completely negligible. Things get particularly interesting now with the low light test, that is, filming in difficult or dark lighting conditions. Insta360 claims that, thanks to its larger sensor, it can deliver significantly better results. And in fact, that claim holds true. The larger sensor of the Ace Pro 2 can extract far more from existing street lighting. The GoPro simply doesn't achieve such an impressive level of brightness. On the other hand, it does have the advantage of showing fewer stabilization artifacts.
To wrap up, I want to quickly list all the other features that are equally important for us but offered at the same level by both cameras. Both require an app connection for initial registration, something I personally find quite annoying. Both can be paired with communication systems and Bluetooth microphones. GPS overlays are also possible. 1 terabyte is the largest memory card you can use in either camera, and the super practical magnetic clip is available for the GoPro as well.
In summary, as we come to the end of this video, I can more or less only repeat myself. Both cameras operate at an extremely high level. Neither of them will let you down on your motorbike adventures. Personally, at the end of the season, I can say I'm very happy we switched to Insta360. I was always very satisfied with the image quality of the GoPros we used before, but I can't say the same about their software. With the Ace Pro 2, we've experienced
far fewer crashes and failures than we regularly did with the Hero 10, 11, and 12. The Hero13 didn't show any issues on my test day, but of course that single day isn't enough to make a final judgment about reliability. So I need your help here, dear 1000 PS friends. Who among you uses a GoPro Hero 13? Who uses an Ace Pro 2? What are your experiences with them? Please let me know in the comments. Many thanks for your attention. Take care.